What's up guys, today we're gonna be doing a comparison video of three of my watches. These are some of the watches I feel like are the best under the $1,000 price bracket category. However, I think that is a very good price point for getting a good watch for yourself. The idea behind this video is that all three of these I consider to be a GADA watch, that is a go anywhere, do anything, some more than the others, and I just wanted to give my thoughts on owning each of these for a good enough period of time and just give you my thoughts on how each of them wears and all. So the watch of the day today is Bulova Acutron 214 for Space View. Nothing else quite like it. With that out of the way, let's get started. I'll start with the Ward C63 Sealander Automatic. So this has a GMT version as well. This is the automatic 3-hander simple version. Right off the bat, let's talk about the movement, which is kind of the most boring part of these watches. So it's a Solita SW200-1 movement with a custom rotor with a custom finishing. It says Christopher Ward on the rotor. The finishing is decent. There's a slight bit of machining done, nice bit of decoration for this, nothing to stand out. So this has a 42 to 41 hour power reserve, which is quite true. That is how it runs if you wind it completely and just let it sit. It has a white lacquer dial. As you can see, it's not exactly easy to capture on video. However, this is as white as you can get, and the hands and baton markers are very legible, and they play with the light wonderfully, which is a point I'll just bring up. The markers are and the hands are both brushed and polished, so again just plays with the light wonderfully. As you can see, the hands have a polished edge to them. However, if you look at it at this angle, the top part of it is brushed. Same with the hands. The corners are polished while the center part of it is brushed. They're all filled with lume. There's no lume on the second hand as such. Another thing, there's splash of orange on this tile. The text for the water resistance and the dots on the R indicators are orange, and the tip of the second hand is also orange, which is something I absolutely love. On a monotone dial, just brings it to life, I think. The new version of the latest version of this watch comes with applied markers. However, I prefer the one with the painted markers. Of course, these I mean the logo. The printed logo, I think, provides a good bit of contrast to the white dial in black. It's very ever so slightly raised. Not sure how visible it is on camera. So I think I prefer this version compared to the current version of it. Of course, to each their own. Next, the anti-reflective coating on this is very nice. Sometimes it's hard to tell that there's a crystal on it. Of course, the crystal is slightly raised here, as you can see, and there is no particular distortion. It's sapphire crystal, and it's a completely flat sapphire crystal. I think the anti-reflective treatment on this watch is only on the underside of the the crystal. So it's a 39mm watch, where it's very good. It has a 36mm version as well. However, that version lacks the bit of color splash, and not just the white one. The black version of this watch has red markings, and the 36mm version of this watch doesn't have those, which is a bit of a letdown. I think they should have maintained that. I quite like the touch. So other than that, the crown is signed, as you can see. Now this is a point I'll be coming to. It's again brushed and polished. Let's see if I can zoom in, if it focuses. Yeah, so it's the Christopher Ward logo, that is the twin flag emblem, Swiss and English flag. It's a screw down crown. It has 150 meters of water resistance, as you can see on the dial. Quite nice, I guess, versatile configuration. This is like easily one of the best go anywhere, do anything watches on the market right now, especially at this price point. Depending on what kind of strap you put it on, it is a very versatile piece. You can dress it up, dress it down, and the light catcher case is really something else. So I'll just give you a bit of a spoiler right off the bat. Between these three, this is my favorite case by far. It has brushed surfaces and polished surfaces, so majority of it being brushed, as you can see. Of course, scratches show up very less on brush surfaces, especially on the bezel. But there's a bit of polished surfaces here and there, so it plays with the light wonderfully. Also, the profile of the case is very nice. It doesn't feel generic at all, and it just feels like it's something custom. It just feels it punches way above its weight class. So I think that's a theme with all three of these watches, of course. Other than that, what else? The loom is X1BLC1 Swiss grade loom, which is blue loom, by the way. It looks fantastic, and the loom itself performs very well. I believe it is some of the best Swiss loom on the market. Uh, yeah, the markers for the hours and minutes are slightly raised. I mean, they're applied, of course, but not sure how well it shows up on camera. But they're quite a bit raised compared to the Seiko. Of course, I'll be talking about that when I talk about that watch. That's about it. So yeah, quite a versatile piece. You can wear it every day. You can wear it to special occasions depending on what kind of a strap you put on it. Right now it is on a Stingray leather strap for me. No, might not work for everyone. I quite like it. So on to the next watch. Oh, another thing. Between all three watches, this is the only one that doesn't have an in-house movement. And the reason I decided to shoot this particular video at this time is because of the, uh, you know, date, which is a theme on all three of these watches. Coming down to the other two, you'll see that by comparison, the date change on this is much more smoother. I mean, of course, it's moved a bit, but compared to the other two, it's quite a bit better, I'd say. Another thing I forgot to mention is the very, very distinctive Trident second hand, which is something I absolutely love about this watch. Some people, I don't know why, decide to complain about it, but it is one of the things that drew me to this watch and just makes it stand out, in my opinion. So, yeah, I love this watch overall. Very few, if any, criticisms at all. Next up is the Citizen NB1060-12L. I hope I got that reference number right. This is one of the hardest watches I've ever come across to video or take a picture of. So yeah, right off the bat, I'll just talk about the power reserve. This has a Miyota 9001 series movement, which is technically in-house since it's Citizen. Quite a bit of nice decoration going on as well, right? Quite a bit of skeletonized and golden font on the rotor itself. Quite nice. I think between all three of these, this is the quietest watch when it comes to winding. It also has about 42 hours of power reserve, which is more or less the same as the Christopher Ward. However, this is an in-house movement, so keep that in mind if that is something that matters to you. Bringing the topic of in-house movement, as you saw the date on that particular watch. So the date on this particular watch is, it's about midnight, so it's about changing. So I'm not a fan of the date wheel in this and the Seiko. Of course, both work about the same. I'll just bring this in context for now. So yeah, you can just see the difference, right? That has somewhat of a quick change date, of course. Other than that, let's address the elephant in the room. The reason you buy this watch is because of the dial. So this is a silver foil lacquer dial. It's a combination of two techniques, two independent techniques, which is silver leaf, and I'm not exactly clear on the details, and I don't want to get into the technicalities. But you go ahead, and the way they manufacture these watches is that they apply the silver foil first and then apply lacquer on top of it. So all of these dials are handmade in Japan, and none of them are mass produced, so they all stand out. Like your NB1060-12L will definitely be have a different texture and pattern than mine. So it is all dials are unique. It's essentially one of one dials, and the Coming to the markers, I think between the three, the markers are erased the most on this watch. This also has, brushed and polished markers, as you can see. Plays wonderfully with light. The hands are also brushed and polished, as you can see. Not the second hand. The date wheel also has a border. Generally, on a watch like this, I would say that a date wheel would just break the symmetry, which it kind of does. But then I also like the border that they've put around the date wheel matches it, and I'm not sure if I'm wrong or it comes off in on camera or what, but the date wheel on this watch is somewhat of a silvery tone rather than complete white. The Citizen logo is also applied on this, and the automatic text, the only text on the dial, sometimes just vanishes, as you can see, depending on the light. Uh, it's a beautiful color, which is somewhere between green and blue. My best friend tells me that this watch is like a combination of ocean and space, which I can clearly see. Next up, what about the anti-reflective coating on this? I think is wonderful, which is quite important since the main attraction to this watch is on the dial. As you can see, there is no distortion at all, and you can just see the dial at an extreme angle. Sometimes it just looks black without there being enough light, but due to the nature of the brushing and polishing on the markers, you can quite easily tell the time. This looks like a Grand Seiko. I mean, if you just remove the Citizen and just put a Grand Seiko on this, I wouldn't bat an eye, and it wouldn't look out of place at all. The dial is absolutely mind blowing on this watch. Just for comparison of the color, this is the color, and this is a pendant I wear. It's a blue what is this, turquoise, I think. No, I'm not sure what stone this is. I'm having a brain fart right now, but yeah, this is light blue compared to this. What else? So this has a dome sapphire crystal, as you saw, quite a bit of pronounced dome sapphire crystal. It's 38.2 mm, so a bit smaller than the Christopher Ward C63 Sealander Automatic. And of course, like I told you, it's an in-house movement. The only issue or downside I have with this particular watch is the crown is for whatever reason unsigned, which is kind of a bummer, and it's a little hard to grip at times when compared to the Sealander or the Seiko. So I'd say that is a very tiny downside, but it might just be me, or it just be might just be me nitpicking. This case has a Duratect coating applied on it, which is Citizen's proprietary, scratch resistant coating. Not sure what the process is. It also has brushed and polished surfaces, as you can see, polished here, polished on the bezel, and brushed on the lugs and on the sides, right? But the case finishing, it's good. I mean, yeah, it's not anything mind blowing. I would still pick the C63 Sealander's case over this. The light catcher case is just something else. However, I would say that the size I prefer, I think, on this. Of course, I think this piece leans a bit more dressier than either of the two of the other watches. However, I think you can still rock it with casual wear. What else? This watch, of course, does not have any loom, which also kind of makes it a dressier piece, but I'd still say it's a GADA watch. The supplied strap on this is very, very nice, very supple. It comes with a deployed clasp, butterfly style deployed clasp. It has a bit of a perlage done, machining done to it on the underside of the clasp, signed clasp. Of course, it is a nice touch. The weird thing about this clasp is it has just one keeper. Generally, they have two, so it's kind of an odd thing. I guess that's how they wanted to go about it. This doesn't have a screw down crown, and other than that, I think it has 100 meters of water resistance, which is more than you could want for a watch like this. So you, as I said, you can just rock it anywhere. The only issue I have with this watch, other than the crown issue, and the main problem with this watch is the procurability of this piece. It is only a JDM piece, so it can be hard to procure outside of Japan, and depending on where you live, you have to account for taxes and things like that. So yeah, that is the sad part about this watch. Next up and last up is my Seiko SPB289J1. I think that was the number. This is on a bracelet currently. This is also a GADA watch. Now, coming down to it, this has 72 hours of power reserve. Now, the reason it has this kind of power reserve is because the seconds hand ticks at a slower rate. I think it ticks at 21,800 vibrations per hour, whereas those two go at 28,800. So they have a much cleaner, you know, ticking rate than the Seiko. Just putting it side by side so you can notice the difference, right? So as I mentioned, it has the same issue with the date, although on this I feel like the date doesn't quite work as nicely as it does on the Citizen, because it still does, because it's still white and it's in the place of a marker. But yeah, this is a beautiful green textured dial watch. As you can see, it has a bit of polishing kind of texture also on the marker part of the dial. But yeah, it's mostly a matte dial. Other than that, it has a rose gold seconds hand, as you can see. Oh, and it's 25th of December, so Merry Christmas to whoever is watching. So it has a distinctive rose gold seconds hand, which is, it goes up to the edge of the dial, which is a nice touch, I'd say. What else? The markers are applied, of course. It has these cathedral style markers, which are quite distinctive. I quite love the look on the 12 o'clock thing. But compared to the other two, the markers aren't as tall. Not that it matters, but that really makes a difference on the other two. Also, the hands are brushed and polished, a combination of brushed and polished like on the Citizen. However, on this particular watch, since there is loom on this watch, it does not as it doesn't play with the light as much, I'd say. What else? The anti-reflective coating on this watch is quite nice. However, at extreme angles, there's a bit of distortion, and at times there's a bit of blue tint to it, as you can see here. The dome sapphire crystal is not as pronounced as it is on the Citizen. However, it is very ever so slightly domed. This is also a 38 watch. I'm not sure about if it's 38 point. There's a decimal I'm missing. It has a applied Seiko logo, of course. And other than that, the case is quite nice. Again, a combination of brush and polish surfaces. But on this watch, especially, I find that the case is quite a bit of a scratch magnet on the bezel. Let me just give it a wipe down and see if any of it shows up. So this particular color and texture was a limited edition. It's been since discontinued. It's a boutique special edition, or so it says on the back. So this particular watch comes with a 6R35 in-house movement, which is Seiko's in-house movement, and it has barely any decoration to it, just the rotor. Finishing wise, between the three watches, this has the worst finished movement, but it's a workhouse movement, of course. And the crown is unsigned. However, it comes with 200 millimeters of water resistance. 200 meters of water resistance, and a screw down crown. It's under the Prospex line, so you get the Prospex logo, automatic text, and 20 bar. I personally think we could have done without the 20 bar on the dial, perhaps even without the Prospex logo. But that's just me. I mean, that is a personal preference, I guess. This is also a GADA watch, that is a go anywhere, do anything watch. You can just switch out the strap and make it sporty, or just make it stand out. Between the three, I think this is a bit more harder to dress up, but it's not like it's an issue doing that, right? This has Seiko's Lumi Bright loom, which is green loom, and works fantastically. Works as good as Christopher Watt's X1 BLC1 loom, but this is of course green. Other than that, the watch came with an extra leather strap with the deployment clasp. The deployment clasp in that is fantastic, but the leather strap took a bit of time to break in. However, the criticism I have with that particular leather strap is that Seiko's leather straps are upside down, so even if you switch out the buckle, it's a bit uncomfortable at times. Other than that, again, the issue with this is limited procurability. As I said, it was a special edition, so there might be some difficulty in finding this now. If I'm sure it's still available. This almost looks gray at times, the dial, right? So that is also another plus sign on this. So coming down to it, since we have gone over the you know ups and downs of each watches, let me just give you the retail price breakdown. This particular watch, SPB289, retailed for 875 US dollars. Of course, you don't pay retail for any watch if you are a watch collector. Next up, the C63 Sealander. So depending on how you decide to configure your Sealander, the price definitely varies. I got this on a rubber strap. So this came, I think it costed around 858 US dollars plus taxes, so more or less the same budget. Now for the big surprise is the Citizen, the hardest one to procure. Now the Citizen I got for somewhere around 652 US dollars if you convert it, which is a shocker because it has the best style amongst these three, and I think on any watch under $2,000 or $3,000, I mean, there's nothing that can really compete with the Citizen in that price bracket, right? But procuring it is a matter of luck, is what I'd say. So between the three, taking all pros and cons into considerations, my favorite watch, of course, I love all three of them, hence I own all three of them. So my favorite watch here, I'd say it's definitely the Seiko is the last of the three. Now it's a toss-up between the Citizen and the Christopher Ward. I'm not really sure, I just love the case design, and I'd say it's a tie for me. The dial on this is just too much to compete with for anything under this price bracket, but at the same time, the Christopher Ward is also fantastic. I mean, there's nothing that I can fault it for. Whereas there are certain faults on this particular piece, so I guess that's balanced out enough. Well, I hope I provided some insights on these watches in general and the watches in this price bracket. I think these are three of the best of them. Other than that, I hope you found the video informative or entertaining, whatever it might be. That's about it. Like and subscribe. Let's just check the the dates have changed on all three watches for now. As you can see, the dates after 12 o'clock are perfect. It's just between 11:30 p.m. and 12 a.m. is when the true test is, and I think the Christopher Ward is the best in these three in that regard. So that's about it. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Peace out.